Don't engage alone. We do this together.
Yeah!
Yeah!
We got it! We got it!
New 52 book.
Somebody clip this one.
Ah, man, good time. So welcome to Under Two Capes episode 200. Oh my gosh. And to give you guys an idea, when I reached episode 100, we were at 32 subscribers, and now we're at 843. So this has been quite the growth.
This is the way.
This is the way, exactly. So
This is the way.
What DC's the way? What better way to discuss this than talk about the greatest Superman movie that was never released, Superman Lives. So Nick, do you want to give...
Just like Comics League lives, so does Superman.
I'm in the same category as Superman. I'll take it. So Nick, why don't you familiarize the audience with the whole Superman Lives like concept? And by what's up, Brown Destroyer? By the way, he says, "LOL, just watch Star Wars Holiday Special." Oh, geez, compared to that.
My
poor baby. Hey, what's up, Lord Thoth? So Nick, briefly, familiarize the audience with the film we're going to be discussing today.
All right, so Superman Lives was a film that was being developed in the late 90s. It was meant to be directed by Batman 89 director Tim Burton.
How do you not know that?
It's called having it on the tip of your.
He's your Batman. He's your favorite Batman.
Fluff off. Fluff the frack off, Jared. Fluff the frack off. Sorry, the censorship slider is set to high right now. So
guys, why don't we just start episode 200?
Actually, you know what, Nick? The censorship button is sent to Nick. That's what it's set to.
Well, if it was set to Nick, then it wouldn't exist at all. But anyway, and then they casted Superman as Nicolas Cage.
They cast Nick Cage as Superman, you mean?
Yes, not Nick Phoenix, Nick Cage. So.
No, I was about to say, because you made it sound like Superman was playing Nick Cage. That'd be hilarious, though.
I mean, have you seen them in the same room together?
No, actually, that's a good point. Same reason why I've never seen Henry Cavill and Superman in the same room.
Good point. And the film is derided for many reasons. It never came to pass, first and foremost. I guess you could say Superman Lives, dies. I'm sorry.
I had to. There you go. That's my little thing right there.
But yeah, like one of the big things was the costume. And Jared, if you, can you pull up a picture of like the Superman Lives costume? Just kind of show people exactly how bad it is.
By the way, there was a documentary called "The Death of Superman Lives," and what's important to understand about that is that costume test that's like been spread throughout the internet. By the way, Bryan Singer, when he was doing Superman Returns, whenever Warner Brothers would give him any pushback, he had a binder that had that picture of Superman in there. Then you would say, "You almost gave us this." Yeah, I'm doing what I want. Here we go, right there.
Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, that costume really isn't that bad. Like, especially if you go down, you look at the ones below it, like that one. Yeah, that looks good.
That looks good. And a lot of it was like they were trying to give they were trying to essentially Burtonize Superman, but he actually had an interesting way to look for Superman. But so it was also, see, here's the interesting thing about that. It was going to do the origin story, but also do the death of Superman. So I think that's doing the BVS syndrome where they combine two very dense storylines into one a little bit.
Yeah, and to answer Brown Destroyer's comment, you guys, this is a costume test. He hasn't been through hair or makeup yet, like who knows what he's gonna look like, what hair and makeup do the thing. Also, like he doesn't have proper lighting. Granted, this is before the age of color grading, so that's not a factor here. But like, there's a lot of stuff that like it's oftentimes like when you see like set photos, like for example, when we saw South Kali as Supergirl in the set photo, she didn't look very good, but when you saw her in the Flash, like, yes, please.
Yeah, it looked good. But Dave the Impaler says, regardless if it were faithful to the Superman mythology, I believe Tim Burton would have made a great movie. Yeah, it's kind of funny. The more you do, the more you look into it, this actually doesn't sound like a bad movie.
Yeah, like once I start pulling out like the concept art and like I do think the movie, the story was a bit bloated, like Jared said. They're trying to do like too much at once, and it probably would have suffered because of it. But it wouldn't have been like an objectively bad movie.
Like here, I pulled up some of the concept art for Superman Lives. It reminds me a lot of like H.R. Giger, and it's like extremely detailed, which I really like.
Nice.
Now I'm wishing that H.R. Giger was actually, because he was still alive when they were developing this movie.
Now, by the way, DC, I know you probably don't watch Under Two Capes, but hell, I might as well give this a try. You know how you have that entire Elseworld / Black Label initiative? Why don't you just take the movies that never came out and just do comic books of those?
Imagine if they get Nick Cage to write the Superman Lives.
That'd
Can
be
we
hilarious.
please make these unfinished movies green or animated?
That would be great. That'd be great. Because they could do this. They could do Flyby. They could do Ben Affleck's Batman. They could do Zack Snyder's Justice League Part 2 and 3 in addition to doing
They could do the
live action on
BVS
Netflix.
they were developing in the 2000s.
Yes, they could do Justice League freaking Mortal. That's another one.
Yeah.
And by Brown says, I believe it's based on the 80s to early 90s Superman where he had big hair. Yeah, yeah. So for those who know, and that Brown brings up an excellent point. Superman in the 90s, first off, had a mullet, and he was a little leaner. So it actually looks very Superman-y in that sense. H.R. Giger worked on Batman's forever, but his designs were unused. Oh, man.
# release a Schumacher cut.
Yes, I want to see Giger on Batman. What is that going to look like?
Well, he kind of has a bad case of dead, so that's a bit of a problem.
No, I mean, I would love for them to like release those like concept art pieces. That would be cool.
Release the Giger cut.
Release the Giger cut. Yes. Hey, what's up, Pika? So basically, the plot of the movie is it's going to show like the origin of Superman. Then it was going to be like Doomsday shows up and kills Superman. And what's kind of cool, they actually had a couple of interesting ideas for like the little drone, essentially Kelex, that like follows Superman around, that he was going to become this regeneration suit that they actually made super iridescent. It was like really like, let me put it this way, this would have been the most unique Superman movie I think we've gotten in a long time. And it was designed to not necessarily be the Chris Reeves version of Superman.
Oh no, the sacrilege. How dare you do something different than Chris Reeves?
Yeah, of course. It's almost like, so wait a second. It's almost like Chris Reeve was not the only version of Superman that has existed.
No, I'm not hearing this. La,
yeah, I know. It's almost like there was a better version of it directed by Zack Snyder, if only.
No!
Search your feelings. You know it to be true. Yeah, exactly. There you go. No, and he just dropped down. By Brown gives Aquaman a 7 out of 10. Sweet. I am seeing it on Christmas, so we'll see what happens with that. But so Nick,
what's up, Pika?
So it's kind of funny. So Nick, tell everyone how Kevin Smith factors into this.
Oh boy.
So Kevin Smith gets called into Warner Brothers, and they want him to write a draft of Superman Lives. Apparently, putting a kryptonite condom joke in Mallrats is an qualification.
That's what he said. That's what he said, because Nick sent a clip into the Comics League group chat that all the hosts have. that was like that was like him explaining the whole story, and then he goes, I think that mall rat scene that we can't play on this because it's much too graphic. I think that mall rat scene is what convinced them that I get Superman somehow.
Look at Jahid's face.
Look at Jay's face.
We broke him.
We broke him.
But hey,
I'm just holding in my laugh.
that's our job. That's our job. So anyway, continue on.
Let
Nick.
it out, Jahid. Let it out, Jahid.
Let the hate flow out of you.
Let the laugh flow out of you.
Go ahead, Jahid. Go ahead, Nick. Continue on.
So he does that, and then he gets called to the producer's house, John Peoples, who is a bit notorious. Like, he was originally a hairdresser of all people, and like he worked on the Batman movies. Like if you watch the Man Lives documentary, Tim Burton says he did the production of Batman Returns in London specifically to avoid John.
Oh, wow.
And so he's talking to John, and he's doing like all the cringy producer stuff, and then John gives him the edict. I want him to fight a giant spider in the third act.
And I love it when Smith is telling the story to people, and then he goes, so after I'm done with this project, I leave it after the man. I'm going to the movies, and I see a movie called Wild Wild West.
A good movie, by the way.
A good movie. There's a giant spider at the end. His idea was because spiders are the most like scary like bugs. But if you have a big spider, because he wanted his King Kong moment where like the doors open and King Kong starts murdering people. And by the way, this is what the Flash was referencing in the movie. And this is the one time I'm going to mention that when you all of a sudden see Cage Superman, he's fighting a spider.
Like I will agree. I will admit like that, like him fighting a spider. Like, okay, all right, I see you get it. So I will give you some respect for that.
Yes, it was. That's exactly what they were referencing. And by the way, so fun fact: the other thing that they wanted, missed the days when Kevin Smith was actually a funny guy. Yeah, me too. So the one of the other things that that the producer asked Kevin Smith. So he goes, okay, so Superman's dead, and like Brainiac just walks into like the Fortress of Solitude. Shouldn't he fight like Superman's guards? And then Kevin Smith goes, what does Superman need guards for?
He's Superman. He is the guard.
Yeah, so they wanted to have
Came
like
to the wrong
polar bears.
house, mother ducker.
Yeah, so he wanted polar bears to like fight Brainiac or something like that. And there's this shot in Man of Steel that shows a bunch of polar bears in the Arctic. That's what that's a reference to. By the way,
I love how notorious a lot of this is. It just keeps getting referenced.
Yeah. In Superman Doomsday, Kevin Smith had a voice cameo commentating on Toyman's giant spider. Oh God.
Oh my God.
The less said about that movie, the better.
You know what'd be hilarious is if Legacy comes out and like they have this thing where like Superman almost dies in a battle, and then someone screams, "No, Superman lives!"
Can someone kick Garrett off
Too
the
easy.
podcast, please?
Too easy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, he did it! He did it!
I
The
had
son
to,
of a biscuit did it!
The Fortress of Solitude does usually have robots as guards. That's true, but again, no one knew that at the time, so it's like
They're more like attendants, like they're more like, servants than guards. Like they can be guards, but that's not their only function.
they're not always guards though.
They're like protectors, so to say.
Kind of. They showed them a lot in All-Star. Brown Destroyer asked, do you think that Nick Cage would have muscled up for the final movie shoot? Yeah, I think he would have. He would have kind of had to, because you can't have a thin Superman. Yeah, and again, the shot, the picture that we just saw, that was just a costume test. That was not the final product. That's the funny thing when people keep sharing that of like what we almost got. We were never going to get that in the final product of the movie.
Also, like the whole like becoming an Adonis bodybuilder for the movie, spending 9 months. That really wasn't a thing in like the late 90s. It only really started to crop up in like I'd say the latter half of the 2000s.
I think it would have bulked up a little bit more than he was. But
not
I don't
as
think
much
he wouldn't have gone Henry Cavill. So he wouldn't have become Henry Cavill.
I mean, look at Henry Cavill in 2001 when he died for Flyby.
Yeah, and by the way, we will be covering Superman Flyby. By the way, so we're going to do a bunch of episodes talking about the canceled superhero movies, depending on if there's a lot of documentation about them. Because if there's not that much we can say, we're not going to do an entire On Capes episode about it. After all, why would we? But so, so our first episode of 2024 is going to be on Flyby. But anyway, so back to this. So what's interesting about this is that this is so you may be wondering, Jared, if this Superman movie was so good, why did it get canned? There were a lot of different things.
We may never know.
One of the things that is attributed to it is Joel Schumacher and Batman and Robin.
Yeah,
he kind of put the movie on ice.
All right, everybody.
Yeah. But go on, Nick.
People don't realize just like Batman and Robin was the end for that era movie. It basically put superhero movies on hold for like 3 years. Like, yeah, Blade came out, but it wasn't until X-Men that the dam truly broke for superhero movies.
And maybe Batman Begins, but who's counting?
And
well, no. Batman Begins in 2005. Like X-Men
yeah, because
you're like 5 years worth of movies. Like, there's a lot of comic book movies that came out.
Yeah, the first Ghost Rider by Brown Destroyer was actually really good. I enjoyed that one. The second one was, the second one, what a drop off! Like, oh my gosh.
What, Jared? You're saying you don't have a spirit of vengeance in you?
No, but the minute they start talking about what if Ghost Rider pees, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Look at Jason's face.
They said it comes out like a flamethrower.
Jared, they call that in medical terms, they call that chlamydia.
They call it gonorrhea, Nick. Joel Schumacher's probably was the worst event that slowed up superhero movies. It wasn't just him. That's why I have to bring this up. It wasn't just him, because Warner Brothers was putting a lot of pressure on him. Speaking of people that ruined DC, Warner Brothers was putting a lot of pressure on him because they wanted to sell toys. And they couldn't, it's like, for instance, with Batman Returns, they can't sell toys about a penguin that eats people's noses.
Also, like, pukes up black bile at one point in the movie. Like, I mean...
Yeah, so that was part of why the Batman movies got super campy a little bit in the following one, but mostly Jared, in Batman and Robin.
I hear Catwoman's kisses are quite electrifying.
You mean her licks? Oh my god.
Her kisses.
Oh my god.
Guys, I'm referencing the end of Batman Returns.
Of course.
How about a kiss?
I like the more gritty, less glossy nature of the set. That was good. It's just the script was utter terribleness. And we're talking about the Ghost Rider 2. Hey guys, WB is planning to buy Paramount.
Allegedly.
Probably more like the other way around, but yeah.
No, it does say it's Warner Brothers buying Paramount.
But Paramount's doing like pretty okay from what I hear.
But my thing is, like, if you're bankrupt, do you really want to? But if you have an over 60% chance of going bankrupt, do you want to spend that much money?
To be honest, I thought Warner Brothers was going to end with Universal, because the Universal's actually doing really good.
But on that, Nick, I'm glad you actually mentioned that. Sil brought up that there are, and actually ABC was like reporting on this, and they did mention about like this can actually open the door for, as soon as WB and Paramount merge, Universal comes in and buys that company.
Well, I know, NBC Universal, yeah, basically Comcast.
So Comcast, the idea is that Universal is so they can get Paramount and Warner Brothers in one package.
I don't think they're going to allow the FTC is going to allow NBC Universal to buy both Paramount and Warner Brothers. Those are two big studios. Those are two really big studios. But also you got Summer Redstone, the owner of Paramount. I don't think she's going to allow that.
All right, but we could get Transformers, Justice League. We could get Green Lantern, Star Trek, and that would be. Oh no, we could get a live action Batman, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Top Gun, Lanterns Light. I'm sorry.
Stop trying to make Tom Cruise into Hal Jordan. It's not going to happen, Nick.
As I said previously to you,
he
Jared,
could pull it off, though.
You could pull it off. But go ahead, Ladia.
Like I said to you before, Jared, The Flash versus Sonic the Hedgehog.
Speaking of Sonic, as a matter of fact, By the way, in terms of VFX, Sonic wins. Pika Shades goes a year from now, and we will get Shadow the Hedgehog on the. Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. What we get is a Fast and Furious versus Justice League movie.
No,
It's
we get
about
a bat.
families.
No. You have to do Batman Fast and the Furious because then we can have the Bat Family versus the Fast Family.
No. Even better. It is a Hobbs and Shaw movie, but they're going against Black Adam. So basically, you have Hobbs in a fight with Black Adam. So it's a rock on rock action.
Yeah, and no, the title is Hobbs and Shaw, A Rock in a Hard Place.
Look at Jake's
Somebody
face.
get this man a movie.
Look at Jake's face.
Look at Jay.
We're broken.
No. In the next Sonic the Hedgehog movie, Dominic Toretto shows up and challenges Sonic to a race.
And then
He's like-
Groot shows up, and they.
This is
Okay,
going.
now
this is
now
getting out of
it's just
hand.
getting weird.
All right. Shadow the Hedgehog versus Batman and Red Hood. Yeah, exactly. Who made the Spirit movie? I think that was that WB.
I want to say that was WB. That could have been Universal. I could be wrong.
I can't
but I want to say
Regardless,
Yeah.
it's on a Mac, so it's on my list of things to watch. Hobbs and Wayne.
Okay, so it's a race between Hobbs' like SUV and the Batmobile.
And the Batmobile has all its gadgets that it can use, but as soon as it engages like the boosters, because when you think about it, the Batmobile works in Fast and the Furious because it has its own NOS.
Just imagine Dominic's Charger versus Ben Affleck's Batmobile.
Oh
and, like,
jeez, the one with the artillery cannon from Justice League.
so
It's like no, Nick. Let me do this. It's like they're trying to take down like a compound. It's like essentially that they're like trying to get into the secure compound. It has like a concrete wall. They're like, we can't get in. Then Ben Affleck pulls up and he goes, I got it. Boom.
Oh, even better. So they're about to have a race, and all of a sudden you hear doo, 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 and then another car pulls up, and the door, and it's Doc Brown. He says,
and wait, and then you hear and then we hear because Gal Gadot's character is actually Wonder Woman undercover. She faked her death, then she went and played Rachel Stone for a few years.
No, even better is the invisible jet pulls up in a Fast and Furious movie. Out pops Wonder Woman, and it's like, Giselle? Oh no, that's not Giselle. You're talking about my twin sister. And then out pops Giselle. Turns out Wonder Woman had a twin sister this whole entire time.
That would
Exactly
be
like
great.
her.
check the private chat.
Why do you?
But Troy was Giselle the entire
Jay
time. It
Heat,
looks like Gal
get the
Gadot.
frack
That's what
out
they
of
do.
here.
Jay Heat, come on, we're having fun here. You should try it. But I love how we went from talking about Superman Lives to let's talk about the crossovers ever. But anyway, back to Superman
No.
Lives.
Batman versus Superman, Dawn of DC.
Yes, exactly. So back to
Well,
Superman Lives. And by the way, Kevin Smith also had a funny thing that he wanted to do. He was going to have Batman do a cameo in this movie, Superman's funeral. He was going to have Batman come on the Times Square like screens. You've lost. Don't lose hope. I know you've lost like your guardian. But everything's going to be fine. So I'm like, so you were trying to build the DCEU before the DCEU. It's really interesting. I'm going to go around real quick, and I got to ask this. And Nick, you've already answered this, but you can go into more detail if you want. If this movie had come out, would you have watched it?
Well, considering this movie probably would have come out in like 99, 2000, and even back then I was a big superhero nerd. Like, I actually saw Batman and Robin in theaters because, I'm old.
Well, yeah, because when you saw it, it was being reenacted by people outdoors.
Wait, what?
When you saw, what you don't know is that you saw the original Batman and Robin, which was actually a series of cave drawings / caveman recreations of those cave drawings.
And they were
Just that
not
silence.
drawn by Bob Kane, so they're
Well, yeah, they're still not drawn by Bob Kane. And it's kind of funny. Oh, you mean Bob Kane took credit for anyone's work? No,
that would never happen.
that would never happen in last years until Zack Snyder came around.
Well, yeah, that's my favorite part about BVS. Is first time Bill Finger's actually credited.
But yeah, I do agree with you. When I see a lot of the ideas,
I would have been all over
actually,
this movie as a kid.
I would be
Like-
so. How about you, Taladia, as my fellow Superman nerd?
Yes. I
Yeah.
feel that Superman lives. Imagine if we got that right.
Mhm.
I feel like the villains and everything, if it was made, it would probably outshine Batman at the time.
Well, okay, actually, I'm going to agree with Taladia because you got to agree this is Batman and Robin, so it's
Oh yeah,
it would,
yeah,
but it's also a pretty low
100%.
bar.
I was
be
about
fair,
to
Taladia,
say
that's a
not
pretty low bar
89, but yeah, absolutely, it would have done way better. How about you, Jay Heat?
Okay, where are we at now? I just step out for a second.
Yeah, it's okay. We're talking about if this movie came out, would you have watched it?
Probably, because at the time this came out, I was probably like 5 or 6, so I probably would have at least checked it out.
Mm-hmm.
So
Plus, it's the opportunity to see a live action Brainiac, and we don't get that.
I will say this:
At
better
all.
than Catwoman, better than Halle Berry's Catwoman.
Yeah, I know, and Brown Destroyer brings that up, but
Oh,
Uh,
quick question.
wait, Nick, hang on.
Why did you say that name?
Wait, quick question while I bring this up. You do know that Catwoman's originally being developed for Michelle Pfeiffer. Like, imagine if they'd actually done a solo Catwoman. Let's say it came out in 1996 with Michelle Pfeiffer. Would you have gone?
Was it going to be in the actual 89 universe?
I'm assuming yes, because Catwoman is a notorious development hell story.
Yes,
If it had
It
come
is.
out, and if it were not like the movie that actually came out, I would have
1996,
actually.
David.
Yeah, exactly. I would have definitely gone to go see that Catwoman movie. Absolutely. Superhero movies might have looked a lot different today if this movie were made. Maybe. I mean,
Maybe.
we would have had a period where Superman looked like Nicolas Cage comics.
It literally all it would have been is just Superman. Well, Return of the Superman, where he had the mullet for a few years. It really wouldn't have been that bad.
Plus,
Kind of.
but you know what? Also, if this film actually was made, it would boost up the sales for Superman comics in the 90s.
Like, also, here's the other thing
Yeah.
you gotta consider.
That's true, Taladia.
This movie probably would have come out either 99 or 2000 because this is being developed 97, 98.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to look at the movies that did come out in 99, 2000. So you got Matrix, you got X-Men, and there's a lot of other like defining movies. Blade came out in 98. So yeah, this movie might, like, you got to remember that's the climate that the movie is coming out in. Like, the movie would have come out, probably it would either gone up against the Matrix or would have come out in a post-Matrix world.
In a way, Nicolas Cage could have been the one.
Jared,
Just
fluff you.
And
Fluff
actually,
up,
in a
all
way,
right?
when you think about it, this movie would be a resurrection. I had to do that. I had to. That silence is all I need. That's all
I was this
need.
close to leaving the stream. Just know that.
I'm sure you would have. But that is true. And here's the thing: what people have to realize. And by the way, this shows that Warner Brothers has always been this way. It wasn't that different with Zack Snyder because they changed everything and they canceled the movie because they weren't like confident enough that they took one failure and were like, nah, we have to cancel everything. Cut it.
To be fair, Batman and Robin was a catastrophic failure that did kind of collapse the comic book movies of the time. So I don't blame them.
There's some merit
like-
there. There's some merit there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it wasn't really until X-Men that it was proven that comic book movies were viable again.
And then it was Nolan that proved that DC characters can be viable again, because it's one thing to make Marvel characters viable because they're, I'll admit it, more relatable. But if you can make DC characters like that big, yeah, you're good.
I guess you could say Christopher Nolan brought things #full circle.
That is true. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. It would have
Yeah,
been it would have been better than Superman Returns. At least I think so.
I'm gonna respectfully disagree on that one. Like, I actually do feel like Superman Returns, while not a perfect movie, it's still a very good movie.
It's still good. I would have enjoyed this a lot more.
I have to side with Nick on this one because you had generational whiplash between millennials and Gen X. So you had a lot of generational whiplash when it came to that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would Superman Lives be more enjoyable? That's debatable. But at the end of the day, Superman Returns just had a lot going for it. Now, the video game is a separate conversation entirely.
The video game was good.
Yeah, Superman Lives was certainly being made with like more modern, like it was being made to more move things forward, while Superman Returns was more of a throwback. So I will say, I feel like if Superman Lives to come out and then, like, let's say Superman Returns came out, whatever, for
3 years
whatever
later.
reason. Well, no. Superman Returns came out like 2006, 2007. So... No. Superman Returns came out in 2006. This movie would have come out in 99, 2000. So there would have been a 6-year gap between them. Maybe you got a Superman Lives 2, but let's say Superman Returns came out. I do feel like if you compare Superman, like in this scenario, in not modern times, when people would be comparing Superman Returns, Superman Lives probably would have been the more looked upon movie, and I realized that was way too long-winded.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Superman Lives had way more action than Superman Returns. He wasn't like just standing there or like punching a mountain or something like that. He was actually fighting Brainiac and then Doomsday. So it's like it would have been more like bombastic action, I think. So I do, because people will watch a movie if it has fantastic action more, I think. So it's like, case in point, the Fast and the Furious movies, because those movies suck story-wise, but they have great
the Transformers movies.
Or the Transformers movies, exactly.
Everyone knew the Transformers movie sucked, but they saw them because of the action.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Pikachu says, when I think about Superman Returns, the first thing I remember is buying too much candy for when I went to see it. That's always in a very interesting time. Dave the Impaler says, the problem with Superman Returns is that it tries too hard to be a simple legacy sequel to the Reeves movie, but with a modern tone. It ended up appealing to no one. Yeah, it's true. And yes, Hamada...
Roll the clip.
Destroyed the DC things, and because you did that, I kind of have to.
Why did you say that name?
It's a law.
Yeah, and that was the problem with Returns, and that was a great thing, Dave, is that it tried to appeal to both, and you ended up not appealing to either. You end up alienating both, really.
Where have we seen this before? 5G, all new, all different, Infinite Frontier.
Every time somebody says, we need to return to the Christopher Reeve style of Superman. Jared, I've mentioned this multiple times. They did that, and no one showed up. It's called Superman Returns.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, and it's kind of funny. I talked about the lack of action. That's kind of super. That's again more with the Reeves version, because at least for like the first movie, I think there wasn't any like actual fight scenes.
No, it was very grounded.
To be fair, Superman 2 actually did have a lot of like. Really
that one had it. That's why I said at least Superman 1 didn't have like a lot of action scenes.
Superman 1 was mostly Superman versus the environment. Like he rescues Lois, and that the worst
for some reason.
Ever. Yeah, for some reason you would have just let her fall, but
I would have again. It's kind of funny. I was watching the Reeves movie recently, and when he flies off to reverse, when he flies backwards to reverse time, because that works, I went, no! Move on! There's an Amazon somewhere in the ocean waiting for you.
Well, I was about
couldn't
to say.
resist, could you?
Yeah, I was about to say, I clicked on Sammy's intro by mistake.
I mean, it works.
It works because I was talking about Superman's and Wonder Woman, so that works. But anyway, best Superman movie, Man of Steel. Yes. At least in my mind. Walter Amada actually did destroy the IP. Yes, thank you. The only watchable favors to Transformers movie is the first one. In terms of quality storytelling, yes, I would agree. 1 and 3, I would say.
One is legit, actually a pretty decent movie. And I will say the Arrival on Earth theme, like
That's iconic.
Like
When
I
they
love
played
song.
that music and Rise of the Beast, I was like, oh my gosh, nostalgia. A direct sequel to the Reeves movies would only work if it were a stylized period piece. Yeah, exactly. If they weren't, if they were just trying to make a sequel to it and just keep it like in that period, I think it would have done a lot better.
Here's the kind of the problem. If you look at the Reeves movies from that angle, the Reeves movies were like set in the 70s. They made no bones about it, but they were also trying to have like a 40s feel to it. Like it's kind of like a mixture of like 40s and 70s. Like a lot of the costumes are very 40s inspired. A lot like the sets are, but at the same time the sensibilities are very clearly 70s. I mean, there's literally a scene where I think he meets a pimp and like, oh, nice suit.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, they could do a solid Superman period piece, like in the what would be kind of cool is if they did like as an Elseworld story instead of the Ta-Nehisi Coates Superman movie, which by the way is still coming out apparently. Is
Superman 38.
Yes, exactly that, and it's basically the original Action Comics run. He's in the suit, he does the car thing. They could do all of that.
But it's not 1938 anymore.
Yes, I know. All of us were like, pork pie had Clark Kent only existed then. Transformers 4 is shorter than the Snyder Cut, but it feels so much longer. I think you mean Transformers 5, where they retcon that the Autobots have already still been here. But in 1, we see them arriving on Earth for the first time. I hate that movie. Yes, it played like old school Americana, and Atchison said, I made it 20 minutes into Transformers 1 before I turned it off. They left green screen in Transformers 4.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Okay, so remember the scene where they kill Ratchet?
Yes.
I have not actually seen Transformers 4.
Well, okay, so Nick, so the plot of it is that the CIA has a group of, as a paramilitary group hunting the Autobots. That's all you gotta know. So there's this scene where you see in the back of this van, this dude has all these TVs out, and it's supposed to like represent you have all these drone feeds. They left in green screen on some of the screens. And they left the Sears Tower in the background in a scene that's supposed to take place in Hong Kong.
Age of Extinction was just bad edit. Age of Extinction was just bad editing, but Transformers 5 was just a mess.
Transformers 5 was like the worst Transformers movie ever. It was the prettiest one, but
so I was watching this one YouTube channel, I can't remember what it was. We're talking about how Transformers 5 feels like like someone had an entirely different script, like called The Last Night, and it was supposed to be like all King Arthur, and so like, oh, we need a Transformers script. So they basically took this like fantasy King Arthur script and basically added a bunch of transforming cars into it and called it a day.
That's probably what it was. And the funny part, Nick, is that in Transformers 5, they show like old paintings of the Autobots in like ancient times, like feudal Japan, but they still have truck parts. Yeah, exactly. Man, I hated the plot of Transformers, but Bumblebee was all right. The Bumblebee movies are slowly bringing good Transformers movies out. So I'm genuinely surprised on that.
Bumblebee is basically a horse girl movie, so we're all good.
No, but guys, the Beast.
If you look at the plot of like horse girl movies, then you look at Bumblebee. Bumblebee is literally a horse girl movie.
It is, except with guns, and that makes everything better. But if you watch, you see Transformers. The minute they say maximize for the first time, Nick, as a fellow Beast Wars fan, I shivered and I was like, yes. The minute you see your Optimus Prime say maximize, and he does.
All right, I need. Sorry, I have to go get my geek cred.
Okay, there you go. But anyway, so while he does that, so back to Superman.
So,
go ahead.
So Jared, like, yes, yes.
There you go.
I love.
Well,
yes,
that's
Jared,
just Prime.
Yes, Jared, I like Beast Wars. How could you tell? Yes, this is the complete series on DVD. So
nice, nerd.
Oh my god!
Now, all right.
Brown Destroyer, I can personally confirm that.
Yeah, in terms of to conclude our discussion on Superman Lives, again, I feel like what DC should do is for their Elseworlds line, just turn all of these scripts that they have into comic books. Because this is the best way for the story to be shown. Because a lot of people, when they hear the stories for like Mortal, Flyby, I haven't heard that much of the story of Flyby, but the point is when they hear a lot of these scripts, they're like, actually, this is really good. I mean, Marv Wolfman, when he read the Ben Affleck script, is like, this is the best Batman script I have ever read. Just turn these into comic books. Watch, the Snyderverse comics outsells the actual comics that people say Zack Snyder is not accurate to. That would be hilarious.
Yeah, and this is actually put what's it called, Tevye in his place when it comes down to Super Sons, and we'll actually get the proper Super Sons that makes sense.
Well, if they do the Snyderverse one, the son of Superman and Lois only shows up in like the last panel.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it'll make sense.
I mean, the facsimile editions were outselling their main comics, which is why they killed it so quickly.
Yeah, and you know, it's kind of funny. You know, what was one of the biggest Justice League comics ever to be released? The Bendis first issue, just because of the Zack Snyder's Justice League covers. I have 3 of them. For real, animation sounds like a good way moving forward. If they can't do live action, do animation, absolutely. I would like to see for the Snyderverse movies, I want live action, but if I can only get animation, I'll take it. For these movies, yeah, they could also do animation because Nick Cage can still do voice work.
It would work for him as the voice work.
It would work for him.
Yeah.
I heard Superman Flyby would have had Lex Luthor be a Kryptonian. We'll talk about that more in January. But yeah, that was the plot where a Kryptonian was going to merge with Lex Luthor.
Are you kidding
I mean, it's
me?
not as crazy of an idea of having the Amazons be Kryptonians.
That's actually not a bad idea, Nick. Well, actually, here's the thing. No. That's a big misconception. The Amazons would not have been Kryptonian. Just a few of the gods.
Like Zeus.
Which would lead to Wonder Woman would be the only Amazon that's at least half Kryptonian. The Amazons themselves would not be Kryptonian. But I have zero.
I love making you flustered. I love it, brother.
I know. I make it so easy. It's almost like when the DCAU handles stuff off screen. I have zero doubt that a Snyderverse line of comics would outsell. Yes, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
As long as they have a good creative team, that would so outsell the crap that's coming out
Get
of
that
DC.
guy who did the Superman. Get that guy who did the Superman and Wonder Woman comic. Get him on
Charles
board.
Soule, baby. Get Charles Soule. Or get Zack Snyder to actually write it. I'm sure he would.
No. It's co-written by Scott Snyder and Zack Snyder.
So you can have Zack Snyder's Justice League. Brown Destroyer says, no, I'm asking whether it's possible today to do CGI and Nick Cage trilogy.
It's possible, but is it likely to happen?
No. Live action.
They can't. I don't think they could do live action nowadays. I don't think so. If they want to do like cartoony animation, they can. If they do comics, they absolutely can.
Hear me out. What if they had done they had released Superman Lives, then in 2015 they had done Kingdom Come, but Nick Cage and Superman was that one. Nick Cage's Kingdom Come Superman.
All right, Nick, I got one thing to say to that.
Thank you, Alita.
I worked hard for that one, so I'll take it with pride.
Henry Cavill would be the Kingdom Come Superman. We all know it. Just gonna leave it at that.
What about Brendan Ralph?
We have to have a scene with Henry Cavill making out with Gal Gadot. We need it.
Yes.
I need it for fan edits.
Jared,
It's starting to become a problem.
have you heard of this thing called fanfiction.net?
Yes, but you need live action so I can put it in edits. You need it so I can put it in edits.
Have you heard of this thing called youtube.com? They have plenty of fan edits on there.
Anyway, Dean Cain can do Kingdom Come Superman. That'd be hilarious, and he does it. But I don't think they would ask him because he's kind of incognito with DC because of his political beliefs.
Yeah.
By the way, here's the part that really annoys me, and Dave brings up a good point. So they filmed a live action scene for Nick Cage. He was actually in the suit, but they replaced it with CGI Nick Cage.
That was stupid.
I get what they were trying to do. They wanted to look like it was like all distorted and stuff, but you should have had Barry Allen say, when I go back in time, things get distorted. You never said that, because then you would have had more of an argument. And B, again, you didn't have to have the stupid like PS1 graphics. Anyways, but what were you gonna say, Jay Heat?
I was just gonna say that this movie had potential, but but after the collapse of Batman and Robin, it just wasn't meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I recently hit 185 subscribers, so
there you go. Excellent work. So on that note, before we end up, I just want to say this is the episode 200 of Under Two Capes, and the important thing that the thing that I want to bring up is the fact that when I reach like 100, to give you an idea of how much this channel has grown, when I first got to 100 subscribers, when I first was at 100 episodes of Under Two Capes, I had 32 subscribers. In 100 episodes, I've grown 811 subscribers. So
and monetization.
There you go. And I've gotten actually 5 co-hosts. Jeez, but I want to, no, 5, because it's you, Jay Heat, Nick, Britt, and Sammy.
Okay. Yeah.
But so first off, I just want to thank all of you for participating in this journey, for watching the episodes, for sharing them, and for you fine gentlemen for co-hosting with me.
Well,
Always a pleasure, man.
Sir, it was a pleasure. Journey.
And I can't wait to see where we're at when we get to 300. And yes, we'll cover 300 again, or we'll cover the comic for 300 when we get to 300 subs, because we have to. That's going to happen. And I look forward to, maybe when I get to 300, I'll be at 1,000 subs, which probably, yes, if it continues this growth, it is very likely I will get
it's
get
very
to that.
likely, and then you'll have to do a Wonder Bat.
No. It was only Wonder Bat if I reached 1,000 before the end of the year. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. So I'm
share
saying,
this video, like, comment, subscribe, and get him to 1,000.
I'm just going to warn you, Jared. Jared, I have a surprise in store for you for when you hit 1,000 subscribers.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh yeah!
Yes, so yeah, we're in the 1,000 subscribers special. We'll be like, hey, Jared, pull up this unlisted YouTube video.
Oh no! The minute you say unlisted YouTube video, I'm like, no.
Yes.
That's not going to turn out well. That's not going to turn out well at all. Oh, geez.
I am keeping my mouth shut.
Yeah, I'm sure. Have you guys watched the old superhero movie, The Shadow by Alec Baldwin? Nick has, because it's Send a Wonder Bat Cake to Jared. I will record a video throwing it against a wall and smashing it with my trident.
That's a waste of a perfectly good cake.
I'll tell you what, I'll smear off the top layer of icing that has that with a knife, and then I'll eat the cake.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. So I think that's a good place to leave it. And to give you guys an update on what we're doing this weekend, this is a big weekend for Comics League. First, I want to say on Saturday at 9 p.m., Britt and I are doing a live edition of Super Wonder Legacy, where we're talking about Kingdom Come, the story that really started the Super Wonder fandom in the modern era. So be on the lookout for that Saturday at 9 p.m. Tomorrow at 6, we will be doing a watch party of Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon. So what we're going to do, instead of CLD and movie night this week, what we're going to do is tomorrow at 6, we're going to watch the entire movie live. So we'll have it on our own separate screens. We'll share something. The point is, we'll be watching it. Obviously, we're not going to stream it because we could take it down. And then afterwards, we're going to do the standard movie night discussion for Rebel Moon. So
yes, and we'll be streaming it to our channels. Like in my case, it will be taking the place of Friday Night Frenzy for this week.
Yeah,
I know Talati is doing it. I think Jahid is as well.
Yeah, we're doing it. And then in terms of next week, there will be no Comics League content coming out next week because it's the holidays, and I want all of you guys to not be distracted by hanging out with your family. So The
We want
last
we want you to be opening presents instead of looking
Yeah.
at our ugly mugs.
and Jay, he had to run, but okay. But in the last piece of Comics League content of 2023 will be the live action, I almost said live action. It technically is live action. The live episode of Super Wonder Legacy Kingdom Come. So
Ooh.
on that note, that's what Comics League is coming out. That's what's coming out in Comics League. So Nick, do you where can one find you and what have you got coming out on the channel? And thank you, Dave, for congrats on 200. Thank you.
All right. Well, tomorrow we'll be doing the Friday Night Frenzy for the Rebel Moon. That's going to be particularly Snyderific. And then on Saturday, we have our Pokemon playthrough. We're going to be going Golden Nugget Bridge, trying to go see Bill, playing Pokemon Yellow. And then I, too, will be taking all of next week off. So there will be no Avatar, no Comics Watch, no Friday Night Frenzy, no playthrough. I'm just taking the entire week off. It's Christmas. I've earned it. You guys have earned it. And then, yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Nick has to go back to the old folks' home. So anyway, Taladia, where can we find you and what have you got coming out on your channel?
So you guys can follow me on Twitter at @TaladiaPlays_ and on YouTube at TaladiaPlays. But I as well will be taking off next week entirely because it's Christmas, New Year's, and stuff like that. So, of course, I want everyone to spend time with their family and whatnot, and it gives everyone a break from me covering Justice League content on the channel, which we will be doing not next week, but the week after. We will be doing issue 4 with Aquaman.
Yes, exactly. And then, by the way, also, what I want to bring up,
Suicide Squad.
I forget. Yeah. Also, so in 2024, a couple of the plans are we are going to stream Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, at least Taladia, Jay Heat and I, and maybe a fourth guest. Have coordinated with Nerdette in 2020. They are going to do the series where we rewatch the Snyder Cut piece by piece, and I try to convince her to become a Zack Snyder's DC fan. So we'll see if I can do that. Yeah, we'll see if I can do that, because if I can do that, awesome. So on that note, everyone, stay heroic, and remember, Superman lives, Lois Lane sucks.